I was just coming on here to tell you all that I was gonna finish my audiobook while I cleaned up. And of course, I freaking broke my tripod trying to just film just a little video, just a little quick little video to go into my montage of videos because wanting to record and really put a lot of work into my booktube, it just goes to show that I would, of course, snap the freaking tripod in half. So you're gonna keep on getting these views, but the phone might fall off. The phone might just jump clear off the tripod, and I'll edit that part out because that's all I can do. Yeah, I'm going to finish this audiobook. I'm gonna film like a little short about the book and then go into a longer video about the book and tell you about this other book I'm physically reading and show you my book haul from earlier because there's this adorable little shop around the way, and I've been in there a couple times before, but this time I really got a chance to go through the whole shop and look at the selection that they have. So I'm gonna take you inside there and show you what they have. It's so cool, and I would love to find other bookstores like it because I don't really like all these new books that are coming out. I want to read some old tried and true stuff that I know I'm gonna like, because if I don't like it, I'm gonna DNF it or I'm gonna give it away. And that's fine too. Like, I want to organize my bookshelf, and that's gonna involve DNF or giving away of a lot of books I already know that I don't want to keep those books. I just want to keep the books that I want to read over again, maybe is one way to put it. But yeah, I'm not the books that a lot of people are talking about on Book Talk and BookTube. I'm not even interested. So I'm going to tell you all about books that I loved that I've read and might be rereading. And I'm going to talk about new books that I found that I haven't DNF'd. So yeah, let me get to progressing. I need to do laundry. I need to like straighten up some areas, change my sheets and whatnot. So I have like an hour left in this book, and it's the perfect time to get all of that stuff done at the same time. I'll be back. I'll be back. I really like movies too, and TV shows and stuff, and I will also be sprinkling that content in as well. I know y'all want to see my bookshelf, but I just broke my tripod, and so I'm not filming in front of my bookshelf like right now. I will figure out how to do that tomorrow, later on, some other time. So I filmed a video earlier about the color purple because I'm doing this series where reading excerpts from The Secret Lives of Color, and I need to do a video about You're Fatally Invited. I just finished that. And meanwhile, I got Devil in a Blue Dress. This one's from the library. It's a good thing they put library on it because it would have blended in with all the other ones. But last week that's book 1 in the series, and last week I got book 2, Red Death, and book 3, White Butterfly. So I am rereading or start from the beginning because I've read Devil in a Blue Dress before, but I do not know if I read one of these other ones. I don't know like what the next one I read, and I want to read them in order. I've always wanted to read them in order. I love E.G. Rawlins. He's my favorite character. And I've always wanted to read his story in order because, like, the stories don't build upon each other, but there is, like, a sequential life happening with E.G. Rawlins. So it's like there are things that are happening in the first book that kind of, or in the second book that kind of build upon the first one, and so on and so forth. So I want to read easy in order. But the Rawlins mysteries that I have read, they've all been so good. So I'm ready to start that series. And I have a book haul. It's a modest book haul because I'm not one to just like spend a lot of money on books. Like, I'm the type, I'm going to read the book and then decide if I want to copy of it or not, if I want to keep a copy of it or not. And I also have like all these books that I haven't read that I'm either gonna give away or, keep on my shelf because I don't want them to just I don't want books that I'm not gonna read. I don't want them to just sit there forever. I would rather them go somewhere where someone can find them and someone can read them. Because if I'm not gonna read it, it's not gonna happen. So let me go get my bag from earlier when I went to what's the name of the book store? I'll let you know when I get the bag. Okay, yeah. Peep the shirt. Reading Rainbow. I think I got this off of TikTok. So earlier, I was at Speedway. That's not. It is this quaint little bookshop, and I have B-roll. Well, yes, B-roll video of it. It was just so cute. Undercover Books. How could I forget? The name of the bookstore is Undercover Books. Let me tell you why I love that. First of all, it's adorable. It has a hobbit door, which where in the city, where have you seen a hobbit door at? And when I say hobbit door, like the hobbit's door was a big circular green door from the book. So I call it a hobbit door because the undercover books door is a huge circle. And I'm like, you never see that. It's adorable. It doubles as a private investigator's office, which, I just was like, I have to go inside there because, quiet as it's kept, Easy Rawlins is a private investigator. And in the series, he opened a bookstore and he put his office in the back. Either that or he moved his office into the back of a bookstore. But I'm pretty sure it was his bookstore too. Like, so when I saw Undercover Books and it has a sign in the front that they do have a private investigator like office in there too, I was like, I gotta go in there. This is my new spot. It is cute. It's adorable. I wouldn't say that the selection is like, my kind of selection, but I will definitely frequent there and go there from time to time if I'm looking for something in particular. And I'll gladly like take books back, like take books to basically trade in there. I'll definitely do that, especially right now when I'm like trying to clean up my shelves. So let me show you what I got. I feel like this is quite a haul. Like I was like, okay, this is another reason I'm definitely going back there because I feel like every time I go in there, the books, like every book I open, every book I look inside, $7. Which, because I mean, depending on what you're buying, like a $7 book is quite a steal. So I got 4 books. This stood out to me. The Teacher Who Couldn't Read. Although he graduated from high school and college and went on to become a secondary school teacher, John Corcoran functioned in life without the basic skills of reading and writing. So this just sparked my interest. I'm really into school and learning, and this just kind of like stood out to me, and I was curious about this guy's story. And just now reading the back, it actually reminded me of Flowers for Algernon, which is one of my favorite books, it has a complete different premise. Maybe I'll get into it in another video. But yeah, I'm interested to see, like, what this story is about. I mean, what the story is like, especially like if it's coming from a first person narrative. Yeah, I want to hear this guy's story because I worry about stuff like this. People graduating school and not being able to read. Okay, I can't really find a date on here except for it says 2008. Where's the copyright page? That is not a copyright page. Am I tweaking? Yes. 2008. Okay, the original was written in 1994 and I guess this edition is 2008. So, that's a long ass time ago for you to be a teacher who couldn't read. So that is one of them. $7, and it's in like fairly good condition. So this one, I got Dry by Augustine Burroughs. Now I read Running with Scissors years ago, and I remember it was like the first time I laughed out loud reading a book. So Augustin Burroughs has a special place in my heart. This is a memoir, and yeah, I'm gonna read it. That guy's funny. Now, these two, I was like, okay, this is crazy. This, I don't remember which one this is, if it's like the first or the second one. A Right to Be Hostile. So this is basically, it says the Boondocks Treachery. So this is basically a bunch of Boondocks comics. If you remember, the Boondocks was funnies in the paper. So they would be printed. They were comics. They were comic strips, really short comic strips. That's how it started. And we used to read the comics in the paper all the time. And it was like, well, it was, first of all, it was great. It was like, whoa, because we grew up like this. We grew up with this type of ideologies and conversations in our home. So to see it in the paper was like, whoa, this is different. And we had all the books. And again, I remember being really surprised a second time when they made it into a series. But if really love the Boondocks, or if you really enjoyed the show, I would definitely dive into the comic strips and books and stuff. There's probably like two or three books, but I know this wasn't the first one. This was $8. That is a good deal. Yeah. Now this last book I got. I don't know where I've seen this before. I might have seen this in my parents' house or like at school somewhere. But the Prentice Hall Anthology of African American Literature. This huge book, $7. I was like, yeah, I got this just off principle because I was like, okay, I've never read this, but it's literature. I'm curious to see what's inside of it. I'll show you this picture right now because it opened to it. Okay, we're gonna see. It's on African fabric. There's like a scene of black children and Malcolm X up there. Okay, so yeah, this is gonna be interesting just to have as like a reference. I might not read this whole thing in one sitting, but let's see. There are contents. Well, of course there's contents, but it's like split into periods. So there's the colonial period, the antebellum period, the Reconstruction period, Harlem Renaissance, protest movements, Black aesthetics, neo-realism movement, and that's from 19. The last one is from 1970 to the present. African, and then there's African American literary criticism, writing about African American literature. I might read that. But yeah, okay. There's basically short. No, A Raisin in the Sun is in here. That's not short. I mean, it's short in retro. I mean, compared to other things. But they've got Phyllis Wheatley in here, which I've never read. And they've got things by that author. By it looks like by each author they have a couple things, between one and four things. They have an excerpt from the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass. So obviously that's like not the whole book. Some Sojourner Truth, Harriet Jacobs. Okay, Anna Julia Q. That's just like the first two periods. So yeah, I just picked this up because I could not leave this for $7. I just wasn't going to. I have a minor in African American Studies, and so some of this stuff I read, some of it I mean, most of it I haven't. Some of it I was supposed to read and still did not. But you know what? I always tell myself one day I'm gonna go back and read that book. So yeah, that's my haul. Again, Undercover Books is an adorable little spot on the south side. Check it out if you are in the area, especially $7. And then I also took like a couple of videos from inside the place. So there was a lot of things that that I would have bought, but I figured like I'll buy it later. I mean, you can't buy everything. You can't buy up the whole damn bookstore on a shopping run or whatever. And it was it was impromptu. I was just popping in. I was driving by, saw it was open early, popped in. But yeah, check that out if you're in the area or if you're so inclined. I would love to go to some of these other. I haven't been to a lot of bookstores in Chicago, And yeah, there's new ones that are popping up all the time. So I'm gonna do probably a good tour, especially Southside bookstores. There used to be a Borders on 95th and Western, and Borders was my spot. I was never a Barnes and Noble girly. I was a Borders girl. I would sit in Borders for hours. They had a little coffee shop in there sometimes. But if you could find a nook to sit in, Borders was the place to be. And ever since freaking Amazon took over everybody's life and they got rid of all the Borders, I've been like missing it very much. But that's okay. We make do and we move on, right? So that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate you coming through, stopping by, hanging with me, seeing my books. Look out for my reviews. I'm gonna do long form reviews as well as short form reviews. So please just look out for those and happy reading. Classics are interesting to me because they're books that I've wanted to read for a long time. This section also full of gems.